Shout out to audience member Brother Knowledge. He pointed me to this article. He said, off topic, I want to share an article with you. It's short, but possibly of some value. The title of the article, he basically just pasted it here on the comments, and I just slapped it in on Google. And apparently, Games Radar's Jordan Gerblick is the person who wrote that Valve followed 1.7 million Steam users for over a year and now reports those gamers spent $20 million on microtransactions. Oh my gosh. And another 73 million on games and DLC. I got to get my calculator out for this stuff, bro. Let's see what the average looks like on this particular report. So 1.7 million, right? Oh, that's 17 million on these users, and those people spend $20 on microtransactions. Goodness. They spent 20 million, sorry. So let's do 20 million divided by 1.7 million. We're going to be able to get, I don't know, I spazzed out for a second just looking at that number. 20 million divided by 1.7 million. Yeah. So on average, each person spent about $11 on microtransactions. That's a very conservative number at the end of the day. And but they spent 73 million on games. So they spent 3 times more, almost 4 times more on games. So each individual spent about $33 or so on games. Check this out. The 1.7 million customers who originated from the top 2023 release went on to enjoy more than 141 million hours of playtime in additional games. Valve monitored the activity of 1.7 million Steam users and found some pretty interesting stats about playtime and in-game transactions and purchases. In Steam's 2024 year-in review write-up, Valve said it tracked the activity of 1.7 million customers who were first-time purchasers and bought one of the 20 biggest games of 2023. It used the big games to single them out. Then we followed the cohort of users, Valve says. Valve collected the data, showed what these customers did on Steam from January 2024 through early March 2025. As it turns out, they played a lot of games and spent a lot of money. So what did they do? 1.7 million of them who originated from 2023 release went on to enjoy more than $141 million of playtime, and on top of any playtime from the game that brought them on board, Valve says. And they weren't just playing games, they were buying new ones too. The cohort of players has gone on to spend 20 million on in-game transactions across hundreds of other games, plus another 73 million on premium games and DLC across thousands more products. Valve says the data proves Steam isn't just a storefront, it provides social community and game discoverability, interactive events, and deep set of game-enhancing features to attract and retain players who will be checking out new games in the future. So, short article, but I think it really does point to something that I think for the most part, many of us have been aware of. If you think about it, there's right now something going on online where Reforge has been talking about how people are talking about exclusivity and why they're not talking about it from the perspective of Nintendo. Why is every developer on Steam not bringing their game to PlayStation? If we're going to call PlayStation out for exclusivity, we ought to call other developers who put their games on Steam out as well. What he is not aware of is how Steam is structured for the third-party developer. It's a lot more friendly than PlayStation and Xbox. The entry into the Steam ecosystem to launch your game as a developer is very easy. It's much easier than PlayStation's. Now, you may say, well, what does that do to, quality control? Valve does have its policies that it puts in place. If you violate any of those, and many of them are for customer protections, if they catch you, and most likely they will, or you get reported, they're gonna come for you, and you're gonna have to take that game down, or they can do it themselves if they find out that that's something that they want to do. But what that has done, and there's always give and take, is it's promoted, for small developers to be able to get in here and actually create an account and get the job done. This is where Valve actually does excel. And someone even like myself, I already have access to the developer back end in terms of being able to publish a game if I wanted to. and it was very easy to do on this particular side of the whole thing. I'm very I'm very serious. Like, you can go ahead and do it if you want to be a developer. You just have to get your paperwork in order. Now, compared to PlayStation and Xbox, which I've looked at theirs, it does have some similarities, but then there are some little things that they want you to, also go ahead and get, which adds another layer to it. So it makes it a little bit more challenging. So, all that being said, these results are very interesting because there seems to be a lot of games out here. I mean, for those of you who don't remember, the top of 2023, which was, a very interesting year for Valve, Steam Best of 2023. Let me go ahead and show you that number. That was an interesting year because we had some heavy hitters. We had Hogwarts Legacy, we had Baldur's Gate 3, we had Cyberpunk because of its DLC, we had Starfield, which other game? I'm yawning. Sorry, it's already late. I got to go to bed. We had Armored Core 6. We had the Red Dead Redemption 2 also kind of made its way up there. So these are the games that these were the games that they went out to use to identify those new buyers that were coming into the Steam ecosystem to figure out exactly, what their behavior is. So I think it's actually very interesting that they were able to come up with a solution like that to be able to go ahead and analyze what the data sets look like at the end of the day. But I was going to go ahead and just make this video, and I just want to say shout out to Brother Knowledge for bringing it to my attention. I strongly believe that the availability of games to gamers is how the gaming industry is going to grow. The old, status quo and hegemony of doing things where people, companies were doing exclusivity deals and all that, man, I think those days are kind of fading away. If anything, I would say they're gone. And now it's an age where the indie developers now have access to the market and have access to a huge consumer base that they can leverage their product. If their product is good, their product can be successful. It can do well. Talk to me in the comment section. I appreciate you guys' time and audience, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.